Let me ask you a question. Have you ever been one decision away from a completely different life? Think about it for a second. One day you're living one way, same habits, same patterns, same struggles, and then snap. Something wakes up inside of you. Maybe it's the pain of staying the same. Maybe it's that gut deep realization that if you don't change now, you never will. But what if I told you that today, right here, right now, could be that moment? Not for someone else, not someday, for you. Today. Because the truth is this, there's no such thing as one day, there's only day one. And by the end of this speech, I'm going to give you the exact tools to make today the moment where you step into your next chapter and never look back. But first, let me show you why most people never change and why you're about to be different. Let's get brutally honest here. The biggest obstacle between you and the life you want isn't the economy, your upbringing, your age, or your circumstances, it's the lies you tell yourself. The stories you've rehearsed over and over in your mind about why you can't do something to become your reality. I don't have enough time, I don't have the money, I'm too old, I don't know where to start. You've convinced yourself these are facts, but they're not, they're excuses. And every time you repeat them, you reinforce the very chains that hold you back. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone with fewer resources, fewer opportunities, or more challenges than you succeed beyond belief? What's the difference? They stopped buying into their own excuses. They stopped lying to themselves about why they couldn't and started finding reasons why they could. Now, I'm not here to beat you down, I'm here to wake you up. I want you to feel a little uncomfortable right now because discomfort leads to growth. Imagine this, what if you rip those excuses out of your life today and replace them with solutions? I don't have time suddenly becomes I'll make time for what matters. I don't have the money becomes I'll find a way to invest in my future. I don't know where to start turns into I'll take the first step and learn as I go. You see, the problem isn't your lack of resources, it's your lack of resourcefulness. Life will always present challenges, but it also presents opportunities. The people who win are the ones who stop fixating on what they don't have and start focusing on what they do have right here, right now. Maybe you don't have all the answers, but you have your drive, your imagination, your determination. Those are the tools that change everything. Now let's dig deeper, because I know some of you might be thinking, it's not an excuse, it's reality. My situation really is difficult, and you know what? I'm not dismissing that. I know life isn't fair, and some people have been dealt a tougher hand. But here's the truth, as long as you keep identifying with your problems, you'll stay stuck in them. When you allow your struggles to define you, you give them power over you. You have to decide that your situation doesn't get to write your story. You do. The moment you stop lying to yourself and face the truth is the moment you gain control. The truth is that change is hard, but so is staying stuck. The truth is that you can do hard things and you've done them before. The truth is that your excuses are costing you your future, your happiness, and your potential. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think about the lie you've been telling yourself. Say it out loud. I don't have the time, I don't have the confidence, whatever it is, call it out. Now ask yourself, is that really true? Or is it just something you've been telling yourself to stay comfortable? When you stop lying to yourself, you take back your power. You reclaim the belief that you have the ability to change. And when you start seeing your excuses for what they really are, just stories, you can start writing a new one. Because here's the reality, if someone else has overcome their limitations, so can you. If someone else has turned their pain into power, so can you. If someone else has built their dream life from nothing, so can you. It starts with honesty. It starts with rejecting the lie that you can't and choosing to believe that you can. And you know what happens when you believe that? You'll prove it to yourself every single day. Let's cut through the noise and get to the truth. If you're waiting to feel motivated before you take action, you're already losing. Most people think that motivation is like a lightning bolt that strikes out of nowhere, suddenly filling them with energy, clarity, and purpose to get things done. But that's not how it works. Motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you had an idea, a dream, or a goal in your mind, and you thought, I'll start when I feel ready. I'll do it when I feel motivated. And what happened? Days passed, Weeks passed, maybe even years passed, and you're still waiting for that magic spark. Let me tell you why action doesn't follow motivation. It's the other way around. Motivation follows action. You see, the first step is always the hardest. It's uncomfortable. It feels uncertain. That's why people put it off. But here's the secret. Once you take that first step, no matter how small, you start to feel a shift. You start to feel momentum. And momentum is where motivation comes alive. That's why successful people don't wait to feel ready or feel inspired. They just start. They take a step no matter how imperfect or insignificant it feels. And that one step leads to another and another, and before they know it, they're unstoppable. Let me put it this way. Imagine you're pushing a heavy car that's completely stalled. The first push requires everything you've got. It's slow. It's hard. And it feels like nothing's happening. But you keep pushing. And suddenly the car starts to roll forward. The more you push, the easier it becomes. Why? Because momentum is working in your favor. That's exactly how action works in your life. The hardest part is starting, but once you move, you realize you've created the very energy you were waiting for. Now let's get personal here. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you're just not a motivated person, that you don't have the drive or the discipline other people seem to have. That's a lie. Motivation isn't a personality trait, it's a byproduct of doing. It's a result of showing up and proving to yourself that you're capable of more. You don't need to feel motivated to go to the gym, you need to get yourself there, and then you'll feel the rush of accomplishment. You don't need to feel inspired to start writing that book, you just need to sit down, write one sentence, and suddenly you're in flow. Here's what I want you to understand. Waiting for motivation is the fastest way to stay stuck. If you're sitting on the sidelines of your life waiting for the stars to align, you're not just wasting time, you're wasting potential. The people you admire, the ones achieving great things, are not more motivated than you. They've just mastered the habit of taking action even when they don't feel like it. They've trained themselves to move forward no matter what. And that's what I want for you. I want you to stop waiting. Stop telling yourself that you'll start tomorrow, next week, or next month. Because tomorrow's a lie. Tomorrow's a promise that keeps you comfortable and stuck. All you have is right now, and right now is enough. The smallest action, a phone call, a decision, a step toward your goal can create the momentum you need to change your life. So here's the challenge. What's one thing you've been putting off because you're not motivated? Identify it. Don't think. Just act. Do it right now. Because the second you move, you'll realize that motivation doesn't live in your mind, it lives in the movement itself. Action creates clarity. Action builds confidence. Action generates the motivation you've been waiting for. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be isn't motivation, it's action. Take the first step, and I promise motivation will meet you halfway. Let's be real for a second. Everything around you is either helping you rise or dragging you down. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, the places you visit, and even the habits you engage in, all of it is shaping the life you're living right now. If you want to create a new life, if you want to experience transformation, you need to break the pattern of your environment. Your surroundings are either fueling your growth or anchoring you in the past. And it's up to you to decide which one it's going to be. Think about it. How many of your beliefs, your thoughts, your actions have been influenced by your environment? If you're constantly surrounded by people who gossip, complain, and settle for mediocrity, it's easy to slip into the same patterns. You start thinking that's just how life is supposed to be, and before you know it, you're part of the cycle. If you spend your time watching negative news, scrolling through social media, or surrounding yourself with negativity, your mind becomes a mirror of that environment. Your energy drops, your vision narrows, and you stop believing that anything can change. But here's the truth, you don't have to accept the environment you're in. You can create the one you need to thrive. The first step in changing your life is to realize that you don't have to stay stuck in an environment that doesn't serve you. I'm not just talking about the people in your life, I'm talking about everything. The way you spend your time, where you spend your time, and the mindset you feed yourself. If you want to change your life, you have to take a hard look at where you're spending your energy and ask yourself, is this environment helping me grow? If the answer is no, then you need to change it. Now, this isn't always easy. People often say, but these are my friends or these are my family members, and I get it. It's not always easy to distance yourself from those who are close to you. But let me ask you this. Do you want to keep living in the same pattern of mediocrity because you're afraid of making changes? Or are you ready to raise your standards and surround yourself with the people, the ideas, and the habits that challenge you to be your best? It's time to make that choice. Start by asking yourself, what do I want more of in my life? Do I want more growth, more energy, more positivity, more success? Then, identify the people, places, and activities that support those things and immerse yourself in them. The more you expose yourself to high energy, positive environments, the more you'll naturally shift your mindset and your habits. Seek out people who push you to be better. People who inspire you to take action. Surround yourself with those who are already living the life you want to live. But this isn't just about people, it's about the spaces you occupy as well. The environments you live in and work in can have a massive impact on your success. If you're working in a cluttered, disorganized space, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and unproductive. If you're living in an environment that feels heavy, chaotic, or uninspiring, it will drag you down without you even realizing it. You need to create an environment that lifts you up. Keep your workspace clean and organized. Create a home that energizes you. Make sure the things you see and experience on a daily basis are aligned with your goals. And here's the most important part: you have the power to control this. The people, the environment, the habits, the distractions, they don't control you. You control them. You choose what you allow into your life. And when you start taking responsibility for your environment, everything changes. Imagine waking up every day in a space that supports your goals. Imagine being around people who challenge you, who believe in you, and who expect more from you. Imagine being in a place where your dreams feel not only possible, but inevitable. That's the power of a changed environment. If you want to change your life, it's time to break the patterns that are holding you back. It's time to step into environments that support the future you're creating. And once you do that, the possibilities are endless. Because when your environment shifts, you shift. And when you shift, everything else follows. Every single one of us has a story, a narrative we've created, whether consciously or unconsciously, that defines who we are, what we can do, and what we deserve. This story shapes our actions, our beliefs, and our outcomes. For many, it's a story that's been written by external influences, the people around us, our past experiences, the failures we've endured, or the expectations others have placed on us. The problem is these stories often hold us back, limiting our potential and keeping us stuck in a cycle of self-doubt, fear, and mediocrity. But the most powerful thing you can do today, right now, is to rewrite your story. When I say rewrite your story, I don't mean just changing a few details or adding some fluff to make it sound better. I mean completely flipping the script. You've been living a life based on a set of beliefs, some of which were formed years ago. Maybe you believe you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, or that you've missed your chance. These stories have been controlling you, making you act in ways that reinforce those beliefs. But what if you could create a new story? A story where you're powerful, where you have everything it takes to succeed, and where your past failures are nothing more than stepping stones to your future triumphs. That's what happens when you choose to rewrite your story. Think about the language you've been using about yourself. I'm just not good at that. I've always struggled with this. I'll never be successful. Every time you say something like that, you're reinforcing the belief that you're incapable of change. But here's the thing, words are powerful. The language you use shapes your identity. If you keep telling yourself that you're bad with money, that you'll never lose weight, or that you'll never be able to launch your business, you're locking yourself into a self-fulfilling prophecy. But when you change the story, you change the entire game. What if, instead of saying, I'm not good enough, you started saying, I am capable of learning and growing? What if, instead of saying, I'm bad with money, you started saying, I'm learning how to be financially free? What if, instead of saying, I'll never be successful, you said, I'm taking the steps I need to succeed and I'll get there no matter what? This shift in language doesn't just change how you see yourself, it changes how you act. The moment you start rewriting your story, you begin to live in alignment with the new narrative you've created. And here's the kicker. This isn't about pretending that everything's perfect or ignoring your flaws. It's about acknowledging that your past does not define you. Your mistakes don't make you weak, they make you stronger. Your failures are not signs of defeat, they're the lessons that lead to breakthroughs. The story you've been telling yourself about who you are has been limited by what you've experienced up until now. But it doesn't have to stay that way. You have the power to change the narrative. You can be the hero of your own story. The moment you stop seeing yourself as the victim of your circumstances and start seeing yourself as the author of your life, everything changes. It's time to stop letting your past define you. It's time to stop letting other people's opinions or society's standards write your story for you. Rewriting your story means stepping into your true power. It means embracing the idea that your potential is limitless, that your past is simply a series of lessons, and that the best chapters of your life are yet to be written. So what will your new story be? Will you continue to live in the past, holding on to old beliefs and limitations? Or will you step into the future you're capable of creating, knowing that you have the ability to rewrite every chapter from here on out? Your story is yours to create. Rewrite it now and watch as your entire life transforms. We all like to think that we have endless time to make decisions, that there's always a later to start, a tomorrow to take action. But let's face it, time doesn't wait for anyone. The clock keeps ticking, and every minute you delay in making that change, in taking that step, and facing that challenge is a minute you'll never get back. The truth is that if you don't change, if you don't make the decision to break free from the patterns that are holding you back, you're choosing to stay exactly where you are. And that choice, though seemingly harmless in the moment, can have devastating long-term consequences. Think about it for a second. If you don't change, where will you be 1 year from now? 5 years? 10 years? Will you still be stuck in the same job, the same routines, the same unfulfilling relationships, or the same mindset that you're complaining about today? The price of not changing isn't just about the missed opportunities or the goals you didn't reach. It's about the person you'll become, the version of you who deep down regrets not taking action when they had the chance. And let me tell you, regret is far more painful than any discomfort you might face while making changes. What's the alternative to changing? Let me paint a picture for you. Let's say you decide to keep putting it off. Let's say you keep telling yourself that next month will be the right time, that next year you'll start fresh, that when the kids are older or when I have more money, things will be different. Well, let me remind you that next month isn't promised to you, and neither is next year. And those external factors like time or money are never going to magically line up to make it easier. What will happen instead is that you'll keep pushing your goals further and further down the road. You'll keep looking at the life you want with longing but never actually living it. Here's the harsh truth: if you don't change, you're choosing to stay stuck in mediocrity. You're choosing to let your dreams slip further away. You're choosing to remain in the comfort zone, which feels easy now but leaves you with a hollow sense of dissatisfaction over time. And the price of that? Well, it's measured in missed potential, missed experiences, and the quiet, gnawing sense that you could have done more. On the flip side, what does changing today look like? It means taking control of your destiny. It means choosing to invest in yourself, in your future, in your dreams. It means creating a life that excites you, a life where you're constantly growing, learning, and challenging yourself to be better. And the price of change? It's a small price to pay for a life filled with meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. It's the price of moving beyond fear, beyond procrastination, beyond self-doubt, and stepping into a future you're truly proud of. Think about the person you could be a year from now if you started making those changes today. Imagine the version of yourself who took bold action, who stepped out of their comfort zone, who faced the fear and pushed through it. Imagine the growth, the progress, and the satisfaction you'd feel knowing that you didn't waste another moment waiting for a better time. So I ask you again, what's the price of not changing? Because every day you wait, you're paying that price. And you have the power to stop that cycle today. You can choose to change, to act, and to create a future that reflects your true potential. And that choice, it's one that will pay off 1,000 times over in the years to come. One of the most empowering truths you can ever learn is that you are the architect of your own life. Everything you have, everything you do, and everything you experience is a result of the choices you've made, both conscious and unconscious. This is where true power lies, in the realization that you have created your life up until this point. You are the one who has built the foundation of your current circumstances, and you are the only one who can change them. The moment you take full responsibility for your life, you step into your true power. The problem for many people is that they're still stuck in the mindset of blaming external factors for their situation. It's the economy, it's my boss, it's my upbringing, it's just the way things are. This type of thinking gives away your power. It keeps you stuck in victimhood. And when you see yourself as a victim, you give up control over your life. You give up the ability to create the future you want. When you point fingers at others or circumstances, you're giving them the power to dictate your life. And that means you remain a passive participant in your own story. Now, this doesn't mean that life isn't tough sometimes or that you haven't faced some incredibly challenging situations. It doesn't mean you've had an easy road or that your circumstances were fair. I get it, life throws curveballs, and sometimes it feels like the deck is stacked against you. But the most important thing you can do when life knocks you down is to own your response. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control how you respond. You can control what actions you take next. The moment you take responsibility for your reactions, your decisions, and the way you show up in the world, you take back control of your life. Taking responsibility for your life means you stop waiting for things to change on their own. You stop hoping for someone to come along and fix things for you. You stop blaming the past, the system, or anyone else for where you are. You look yourself in the mirror and say, I am where I am because of the choices I've made, and I have the power to make new choices moving forward. Here's the most powerful part of this: when you take full responsibility for your life, you also accept that you are the one who gets to create your future. This isn't just about taking responsibility for the problems in your life, it's about taking responsibility for your potential. You get to decide how high you want to go. You get to decide what kind of success you want to achieve. You get to decide how fulfilled you want to feel and how much impact you want to make. The future you desire is in your hands. The moment you take full responsibility for your life is the moment you realize that you're in charge. No one else can live your life for you. No one else can make your dreams a reality but you. And when you truly embrace this power, everything changes. You stop waiting for permission. You stop seeking external validation. You stop hoping for luck to strike. Instead, you begin taking action. You begin making decisions with confidence, knowing that you are the one who can steer the ship of your life in any direction you choose. This doesn't mean you'll have all the answers right away, or that everything will be smooth sailing. It means you're willing to figure things out as you go. It means you're willing to take risks, make mistakes, and learn from them. But the key is that you're taking responsibility for it all. You're not leaving your life to chance. You're actively creating it. When you take responsibility for your life, you're no longer at the mercy of your circumstances. You're no longer a victim of your past or your environment. You are the creator of your future, and that's where true freedom lies. So step into your power. Take full responsibility for where you are and where you want to go, and start building the life you've always dreamed of. The moment you take responsibility is the moment everything changes.